Welcome on in, everybody. Boom. Hey, there it is. Okay, and we're live. We're live. We are hot. The mic is hot. Let's go. Welcome on in, guys. This is the first attempt at a live podcast on the old tuber here. I am Renelius, and he is Foxhard, and this is a little bit different of a format for us, but we are going to try streaming it, and we have some pretty decent topics today. What would you say?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Ooh, that voice is sounding good. This is very different. You're sounding great, though. Sounds crispy. All right, so today we're going to talk about some Sony State of Play. We're going to talk about skill-based matchmaking and how it's going to apply to Halo Infinite. We have our Fox 5 tech stories of the week and how Nintendo somehow managed to release an emulation service that is absolutely worse than what I've been using since 2007. So, should be some pretty fun subjects. Nothing too hot, nothing too heavy, but, you know, all good gaming news. So, pretty, I feel so weird doing this. It just feels very different because it's live. I feel the pressure is much more than what we normally do. But,
like, do you not go live, like, all the time on Twitch?
I do stream 4 nights a week, but for some reason I feel an immense amount of pressure to not fuck this up. I feel like this is so much more, I don't know, for some reason this feels very different. I almost feel like I'm cheating on my girlfriend streaming on YouTube, you know? That's what it almost feels like. It feels like I'm a daddy dirtbag over here, just like, oh, I was going to go live on YouTube, you know? But we're getting used to it. We're adjusting. We got people in the chat, you know, very surprised to see that. And, you know, everyone talks about this YouTube discoverability and this algorithm this and algorithm that. Well, hey, let's talk about it, because when it comes to the land of streaming, you know, I'm a Twitch streamer. You're a Twitch streamer. We both exist very much so in the streaming world. And today, the land of streamer Twitter was a shitstorm, because not only did Twitch greenlight paying to boost your stream, your viewers paying to boost your stream, at the same time, YouTube Gaming announced today that gifted memberships are coming in 2022. So as of right now, if you're not familiar with it, you go to YouTube streams. The UI, you know, you guys see it. The UI is not the hottest thing in the world, but it's there. There's emotes, there's a chat. It's fine. But a huge part of Twitch culture is you have your subs. They call it memberships in YouTube. People can sub to you. People can gift subs. Well, on YouTube, they don't have that right now. So it's pretty much, you know, they have it where there's the nice thing that YouTube has is they have levels of subs. So you can set like a sub level for $1 if you want. And then you can set a normal $5 level. Obviously, YouTube has a higher creator cut, which is nice, right? I think that's great.
Yeah.
But also it lets you take a higher cut, and because of that, if you're okay with getting $250 a month, you can charge less for your sub, still get the same amount of money, and it's less financial burden on your viewers.
Now, I'm actually shocked to find out that YouTube does not have gifted, because I feel like that is like a large portion of like most streamers' subs are gifted.
Yeah. 100%.
Like most, like I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure it's different for different streamers, but like some channels I watch, it's got to be 80%. It's just gifted subs.
Yeah. I think a huge part of streaming culture, specifically Twitch, is it's the feeling of community. You feel like you're a part of the community, and you want your fellow viewers to enjoy. You know, myself included. I love gifting subs because you're supporting your friend, the creator. You're supporting your viewers that you're with, and that's super exciting. Because hey, you know, not everybody has the money to donate subs. Not everybody has the money to sub to a channel, and you're able to gift that. Everyone gets to use the emotes. It's fun. It's just, you know, part of it. And it just seems amazing to me that YouTube has had streaming. They've had memberships for a couple of years now. I mean, it's not like YouTube streaming is brand new. They're just now making their big push, and they don't have it. So me personally, one of the biggest things for me is I couldn't believe that YouTube didn't have that, because even Facebook streaming has that. Facebook gaming has it. YouTube doesn't. If I was coming over and making the swap, the biggest thing for me is I don't think the discoverability is really that great for YouTube, but who knows? I'm sure you just have to use it a different way. But also the no gifted subs, the culture of YouTube, they see people come to YouTube to sit there and watch long form content, but do they really want to watch streaming? So it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes. But I think Twitch is really fumbling the bag, man. I think it blows my mind that, Twitch isn't a startup anymore, but they're a company of very young people, right? You look at the head up guys at Twitch, like the oldest guy you might see is like 40, 35, somewhere around that range. Like, how could you be so tone deaf to your audience that you would think that, hey, why don't we just go and say, hey, you, Mr. Viewers, you guys can pay money to boost your streamers to the front page, but the streamer gets none of it because we can't have an algorithm. And we're very openly showing that we have an algorithm that doesn't work, and we're going to make it pay to win. So if you can push your community, you can give money, and it might bring views. What are your thoughts?
You're saying, like, the streamers can pay money to be like front page or something?
Yes. So what it'll do
more discoverable.
Yeah. So what it'll do is it'll say streamers recommended for you, and if someone donates $1, they pay $1 for it. It'll put you on 1,000 people's streamers for them. You pay $2, it puts you on 2,000 people's streamers for you. 3,000, 4,000, all the way up to $500 per transaction, which I think would be what, 50,000 or something like that. That your viewers can pay that right to Twitch. You get none of it, just for them to put you on the front page. That come on. I mean, for me, that seems very much to benefit people who are in the money, right? And then it puts a big fat sponsored logo underneath your name.
I actually, hearing about this, I'm like not too familiar with it. It doesn't sound that bad.
Really? Okay. No. Interesting.
Like it's like paid. It's like advertising, right? It's like paid advertisement, but
the streamer can't.
Doing it?
The viewers are the only ones that can do it. Streamers cannot pay for their own boost right now. So it's only for your community.
Such an easy workaround, right? You have a second account.
Or streamers are like saying, "Hey, I'll pay you $50 if you pay me $50." But I think it comes down to a systematic problem with streaming is people with money tend to win as it is. Right? And it's just more of a systemic problem. Like Twitch's algorithm, like they know their algorithm, their discoverability is bad, so they want you to continue to go to your viewers and pay for them to promote you rather than them using the half of the money. They take a bigger cut than anybody's subs. So they take half your subs, they take the 20% off the top on bits, and then they want to go back to the wishing well again and milk your viewers for more. And that just, I don't know, that doesn't sit well with me.
Is it, like, no one, like, they're not putting a gun to anyone's head.
Right.
I mean, like, say, like, right now, like, how many people's feeds do you think you're in for recommended viewers?
I have no clue, because Twitch has that and they don't share it with you. They don't share that. They don't share those analytics with us.
It's not many, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if nobody pays for it, it's like nothing's changing for you. And if you have a really supportive community, if you're a small community with avid supporters,
right,
that might actually be beneficial to you. I mean, yeah, people are going to game the system. Like I said, you could easily have a second Twitch account, hooked up to your like a PayPal, and you could just feed money and promote yourself. But I mean, I don't think it's really. I mean, it might hurt some mid-tier people, but I feel like if people start doing it, it's going to happen. Like it's going to happen for everybody. You know, anyone with like a very strong community, like they're gonna get that support.
Well, if you're paying to boost, like if everyone is boosted, then no one is boosted, and then Twitch just profits. And then Twitch just profits more.
Not everyone's gonna boost.
I
honestly don't think I don't think Twitch is doing that well.
You don't think they're doing well financially?
Yeah. So like they have to find a way to monetize. But I mean,
how is it that they're struggling so hard to be profitable when they've owned the streaming space for so long and there's so much money? Obviously, the Twitch leaks came out. There's so much money coming in and out of Twitch and to these viewers and sponsors deals and streaming deals.
Much money.
There's millions and millions of dollars. What are their operating expenses?
Millions. Like,
I bet there's billions. I bet overall there's billions of dollars flowing into Twitch.
I don't think there's billions.
You don't think so? I would love to see their financial statement.
Like the top people were making, you know, like 5 million like for like 2 years, and then it just starts to cut off really slow. In the top 100, it's like, I just feel like the cost. Like, think of how many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, small time streamers like myself, that aren't making money, that are just using all that bandwidth, all their servers, like using everything for basically free.
Right. No, 100% agree with you. But now here my counterpoint to that. A lot of us are using the servers for free, but why has Twitch been around for all these years and they've not advanced their monetization? So you think about it, your ad revenue you get on a YouTube video is always there, right? That YouTube video is always there. And you know, you could be watching a YouTube video that's 10 years old and there's still ad revenue coming in for it. But Twitch never has done anything with their platform to boost VODs, to boost clips, to boost anything that's interesting. If they had like a proper like YouTube recommended for like good clips where you could make like little clips and quips of your stream and have them featured on your channel and then have people able to click through those, like a way to get to them easily, and then have ad revenue on those, then what? You know, I think it's definitely a problem where, yeah, you're only getting ad revenue when someone is live because no one watches VODs and clips in the grand scheme of things. That's a Twitch problem, not advancing their platform. I mean, and YouTube wasn't profitable for years for Google. Like, I don't think YouTube turned a profit until relatively recently.
I still don't even know if it's profitable.
It is profitable. YouTube is finally profitable after, I would have to look it up. I don't know if someone in the chat can see
how big YouTube is. Massive, a magnitude bigger than Twitch, right?
It wasn't always though. Twitch has been around for 10 years, man, and it's done nothing than just sit there and still be streaming. Like, they've added just chatting, pools, hot tubs, and beaches, and art, categories. That's all they've done.
That's that is what Twitch is. It's live content.
Does it have to, is that a fault of Twitch for not growing? Like, YouTube was always video content, and now it's pushing more into streaming. It's pushed into YouTube television. It's pushed into YouTube Premium. Yeah.
Well, it's been trying to push into gaming for a long time. Like, it's I feel like it's just like the way the market is. It's like, if I want to watch a live broadcast, I'm gonna go to Twitch. If I want to watch like a curated video, I'm gonna go to YouTube, and that's the way I do it. I mean, some streamers will just straight up upload their past live streams like a few days later to YouTube.
Yeah. That's not what people come to YouTube to see. Like, YouTube like has very specific YouTube content. But
it's like, I'll watch that as I'm falling to sleep or something like that. But I mean, the best people, what they do is they break out, they have their 3-hour stream, they'll cut the fat, and they'll put out like maybe a half-hour video of all the best stuff. And I love watching that because it's just all hit, right?
Do you love watching that of big streamers like Doc and like Tim the Tatman?
I've never watched those people, but just in general, that's like what I like. It's just like it's a more concise, like 20 minutes of entertainment, more digestible. Whereas like I never watch VODs on Twitch because
they're terrible.
You're kind of getting the live experience, which is good when you're able to chat and you're interacting with people. But like, you're watching that after it's over, so it's not like the best experience. And I feel like that is why Twitch isn't really going hard into like marketing those VODs, because nobody really wants to watch them.
Yeah, but is that a fault of Twitch for not advancing their video content side of their business at all. Like the most video focused content you can put on Twitch, I would say, is probably your channel trailer. And even that's like super limited to what you can do. It's like limited to a minute. It's I feel like it's more of a fault on Twitch for not advancing their platform into a media platform. Like I talk all the time that Twitch is no longer just a gaming website. It's a, you know, there's something for everyone in Twitch, but there's no video content. There's nothing where I can just go, and if I want to watch somebody do this right now, or my favorite creator do this right now, I can't find a video of them doing it. So someone says in the chat, is the video marketable in VOD form? I think if you could edit your VODs and have your edited VODs, you know, you talked about those 20-minute, they cut down, like nice trim the fat. Why can't I put that on Twitch? Why do I have to put that on YouTube?
I feel like YouTube, they have their like advanced like screening algorithms to make nothing inappropriate in there, and it's not easy. You can't just say, oh yeah, just put it up there, right? Because what are people going to put up there? Like, YouTube has been doing this for so long that it's like, it's not just like, oh yeah, we're just going to start doing this. It's like they have to put so much technology behind the like the screening process, because I could just upload like, you know, anything on there that's totally inappropriate for anybody, and like, what are they just gonna pay people to watch every video to make sure it's good, to screen everything when there's millions of videos going up?
While I understand what you're saying, I think it comes back to, we're talking about Amazon. We're talking about Amazon. At the end of the day, it's Amazon. The same way that Google is in YouTube. Amazon has the funds. They fucking funded New World, Amazon Luna, and Twitch. You know, they have the money. They just need to put the
question about, do they have the money?
Why aren't they using it?
Question, like, for all we know, right now they've been working on that algorithm that's a competitor to YouTube's algorithm to like make sure all videos are safe. They could be working on it. They could have started 3 years ago, and they're still dialing it down, and maybe next year they might announce that they're doing it. We don't know what they're doing.
What we found out when the big Twitch leak came out, what they've been working on behind the scenes, what they thought was going to be their magic cash cow was the competitor to Steam. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah.
So they've been working on a Steam competitor that no one asked for. No one asked for that. And I don't know if they have really good marketing people, analysis people that like
money
of where they're like, where Twitch can put their money at, but they're gonna have to do something, because with YouTube doing this, the gifted memberships, and if they fix their UI, which this is the first time I've used YouTube streaming's UI, it is not good. It is not very good. But it's a much easier to fix your UI and to fix your to add gifted memberships than it is for Twitch to climb the hill of adding video content this late in the game.
Yeah. It's a
concern for me as someone who's on the platform. You know, like I constantly go through my head like, hey, what if all these clickbait videos of YouTube you're going to take over actually end up being right? Because people make valid points that you should diversify your content, and YouTube could be the future for gaming. Like all these people that thought Mixer, you know, they thought Mixer was going to be the answer, and it failed.
I'm gonna say, like, look at, like, you know who has money? Microsoft. Microsoft has way more money than Amazon. They could not get a streaming service off the ground.
See, were you part of Mixer? Because I never went to Mixer, so I don't know why it failed.
Hear their video, like, codecs, and like it was like the top, like way better than Twitch. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the stream qualities, and it was really good. But it's like, that's why you don't necessarily want to try to get into a big game, even if you have like lots of money and you have a name. Like, it's not as easy. It's just like, oh yeah, why don't they just throw this in there? Like, you know.
Somebody in chat says Mixer was for nerds though, so that's their justification.
YouTube gaming has been trying to, like, this isn't just like, oh yeah, they just started this. Like, YouTube's been trying to do like live streams and gaming for years now. Like, this isn't just like, oh, they just started today. Like, years and years, and they haven't been able to really make a dent.
But I think they've been putting pennies into it. And the thing about the advantage that I think YouTube has over Mixer was that YouTube has gaming content on it already. People go to YouTube to see gaming videos. So it's kind of, you know, we talk about that culture. It's part of that culture with YouTube.
Yeah.
But what's very interesting to me is I'm blown away at the success that Facebook streaming has had. That's the one that gets you. I don't understand where Facebook is. Facebook, if you look at their numbers, or, you know, this will edge perfectly into our next story. Facebook has grown their streaming like very well. Like it continues like quarter over quarter, like very much revenue growth. It's very revenue generating. They're making money off of it, and it all goes to the streamer. They get 100% of their subs. So it blows me away that Facebook is having that success, and I think it's going to be interesting to see over the next coming weeks and months and years where this YouTube streaming space goes, where the Facebook streaming space goes, and what happens with Twitch, because everyone's saying Twitch is going to fail, but I think, you know, there's a very real possibility that Twitch is just too big to fail, and it's not going to happen. So,
Yeah,
you know, we'll see.
Twitch is just synonymous with live streaming.
It is. It is. I think it's where you go.
It's synonymous with like VOD content, and it's like it's really hard to like. It's not going to be easy for anyone to switch. Like you say, Facebook gaming is like, oh yeah, it's doing great, but like, have you looked at the share of like I'm sure it's not.
It's
like
more every quarter, man.
Percent.
It's like, I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know if someone can pull up Facebook's market share numbers on the streaming, but it is consistently growth quarter over quarter.
Yeah,
and
is it growth as in like revenue share, or is it growth as in they're just making more money?
It's growth. I think the numbers came out for viewership. It is viewership growth. Like there are increased people watching Facebook live streams.
Yes, I remember like when Mixer went under, around that time they showed like the growth numbers. I remember seeing a chart. Everything was growing
except for Mixer.
So that doesn't mean that necessarily like Facebook is doing well in the grand scheme. Like even if it's like doubled its numbers and viewers, then Twitch has also probably grown by a huge, because everyone's watching more.
I think that
mean Facebook is doing better
in terms of raw numbers. Twitch is growing more in raw numbers, but in terms of percentage of growth, it is growing substantially slower.
Because it's a smaller.
Because it's
like that's a bigger number to add a percentage to. You know, you get like a million extra viewers on Twitch. That's like a small percentage. If you get 500,000 on YouTube, that's like, oh, we've doubled our viewership. Like, you know, it's when you're like you have those numbers. Like it's harder to get an equal number of growth percentage when the number's already massive.
I'm curious to see. I don't know. We'll just have to hang on to it. But can you got your Fox 5 stories that we're going to touch on? That has some YouTube, or some, not YouTube stories, some Facebook stories on it, right? Do you want to touch on those?
Yeah, it's just quick technology. Fox 5. Number 1 is the new Apple MacBook.
Tell me about
it.
it.
Have you heard anything about this?
No, I am so out of touch with the Apple world other than my iPhone that I don't know. Okay. I never watch much on it, so I'm curious.
So they got the M1 Pro, M1 Max. Ridiculous power for like 15 watts. I don't know the exact wattage, but it's like it's competitive with like desktop i7s. It's competitive with like dedicated like say an RTX 3080 like laptop card. Yeah. The GPU unit is like competitive with that,
and it goes in like an iPad, right? Aren't they like in iPad Pros?
Yeah, well? But not the Pro Max and the Pro. So like insane. Like I wish Apple like MacBooks didn't cost like $3,000 because like just like Apple has been crushing it in like their M1 chips since they started making their own chips, like destroying Qualcomm in the cell phone side, and now it's like so powerful. But then they decided, they're like, hey, why not? We got it on the smartphone. They put a notch on the screen of the laptop, and it doesn't even have Face ID.
Oh, so just for aesthetics, huh?
Is it aesthetic?
It's Apple. Didn't Apple say we're getting rid of all of these ports on the side of our computers, and then we're going all like Thunderbolt or something, and then they added USB back?
They added ports to the new MacBook as well. But like,
how very Apple of them. Just like, I'll probably get my phone charger back, right? You think like in a couple generations of iPhone, I'll get my power brick back?
MagSafe back to the laptop as well. Okay, number 2, it's Intel is launching Alder Lake very soon.
Ooh.
It's keeping the same amount of cores, like, say 16. For an i7, it would be like 8 cores, 16 threads, but it's adding like 8 efficiency cores.
Okay.
So they'll take care of if Windows is updating while you're gaming. Those cores will take care of that. If you have something playing in the background, those cores will take care of that. So theoretically, it should kind of clean that up. Not only that, but like Intel is claiming 50% faster performance than Gen 11.
Jesus Christ, that's quick. That's quick.
And 30% faster than Ryzen 5000 series. So we'll see what actually happens.
Okay.
But that's interesting.
I went Team Red this time. On this build, I went Team Red. So, hey, I am more than open to going back to Team Blue. Very cool.
Yeah, like Jay Miller said, actually some people got their chips early, and Newegg called them.
Oh.
Because Newegg sent them out and be like, don't post anything about this. Like, please don't. So, I read that earlier today. So
Jeez.
people have their chips, but Newegg totally fucked that up. Number 3, next year, Intel should be launching their ZE, whatever it's called, their highest end graphics card, which is supposedly around a 3070. The question is, what will it cost?
Yeah, at
will
what
it be
cost?
competitive? TSMC has raised their fab prices by 20%, so NVIDIA, AMD, Apple, everyone's going to have to eat that cost. They're going to pass it along to the consumer, because that's what you do.
Mm-hmm. Now, is Apple doing their own chip?
Yeah, Apple does. Oh, well, no, they're made by TSMC as well.
So even though it's Apple's chip, TSMC makes it for them?
Yeah, well, NVIDIA's chip, TSMC makes
Okay.
it,
Okay.
Well, Samsung made the 30 series. And, AMD's chips, it's the fabs themselves. They design the chip. But Intel has their own fabs.
Okay.
So theoretically, they don't have to worry about that extra 20%. So maybe they'll be able to, release that 3070 equivalent, which a 3070 is a very good card.
Yeah, it's perfect. Absolutely a good card.
Basically need. I got a 3060 Ti, and it's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it'll be $400 when everything's getting all the prices are going out of control. Maybe that's how Intel gets in on this action.
I'm very curious to see, because Intel is never the cheap option, right? Intel was always the expensive option, but we don't know how much of that was them just gouging the market. So I'm curious to see.
Intel wasn't always necessarily that way. It's when they what was it, around 2012 or whatever, when AMD started to shit the bed.
Yeah.
Intel was just so much better. They could charge what they want, right? This is you want good performance, you have to get Intel. Of course they're going to
charge you for it.
Whatever you want. But as you've seen with the 30 series cards for NVIDIA, AMD comes out with real competition, and then you can get something that's a 2080 Super and a 3060 Ti that costs $400.
Yeah, which would be great.
So the competition could only help, right? If there's more genuine, good players in the game, you think that's going to help with the prices.
I think it would definitely help the prices come down, and I'm also curious to see how it's going to be drivers, right? Drivers is going to be huge. Optimization for games is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And it's going to be they're going to have to really make sure they got their drivers set up, because for years Radeon, that was their weak point, was their drivers were crap. They're still not great.
Yeah.
But they're better than they were.
Yeah, but it's Intel also works very closely with Windows. Windows 11 is basically built around these Alder Lake big little cores, their efficiency and power cores.
Okay.
So they kind of have an inside track. So maybe it won't be that bad.
Very good.
But I think that's a decent way to start out. Make a mid-high tier card, see how it goes, and then they could add on to that.
Okay.
Number 4. You know who else is getting into the chip game? I'm pretty sure Samsung actually makes these chips, but Google has started kind of custom designing their own chips, the Google Tensor for their Google 6.
I've heard about that. The Pixel phones and such. Okay.
The Pixel 6. So it supposedly has a lot of AI technology. It's really good at live translation for
farming
people.
our data.
So they have the photo thing where if you take a picture and there's something in the background you don't want there, you just like can circle it and it'll like automatically remove it and try to
Really?
like fix up the scene, and it's like almost instant. So that's something.
Google. I had a Google phone and it was crap.
Affordable.
Yeah.
And last but not least, number 5, Facebook changing its name to Meta.
What the fuck, dude? What the like? Who? What the fuck, man?
I feel like Facebook does have like there's some negativity surrounding the Facebook name, right? But I feel like they're gonna keep that negativity, but they're gonna lose on their brand recognition.
Yeah, Meta. Like
Changing their name.
everyone
So, like,
knows.
it's questionable.
So they're getting rid. They retired the Oculus name too, from what I understand. Like they went ahead and they're going away from the Oculus name for the headsets, and it's going to be like the Meta headset or something. I really don't know. What the fuck is going on in Mark Zuckerberg's head? And is he a human being, or is he a fucking alien? This man had barbecue sauce. He did the video. He's talking about fucking the metaverse rebrand, and he's in his living room. And he's got a fucking bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's sitting on the shelf. What the fuck is wrong with these guys, dude? He's not a human. There's no way. Mark Zuckerberg is a. You see the chat? Oh, so chat says Mark Zuckerberg is a robot that runs off of Sweet Baby Ray's. So we saw his oil can supply. He fueled up right before his announcement for the rename. I don't know. Facebook is weird, man. That's a weird one. Oh, that's a weird one. So we got Facebook changing their name, and we got Nintendo. You want to talk about another company? We always talk about Nintendo. We love Nintendo. I know you're a fan of Nintendo. I love Nintendo. But goddamn,
I used to be a fan of Nintendo, but I don't know. It's been kind of questionable.
So they came out, and they're like, we've been asking for it. We've talked about it in other podcasts. Like, we are fucking nostalgia-driven animals. I love, all the old games that I grew up playing, and Nintendo comes out and they're like, hey, you wanted it? Guess what? You're getting it. N64 games, baby, in their glory on Switch Online. And I was like, yeah! And they're like, but also we're going to give you Sega Genesis. I was like, yeah! Also, it's $45 extra a year. I was like, okay, the fuck? And then here it comes out this week for the very large increase in price. Runs like complete shit. Like, how, Nintendo? How?
Okay, so how much is it in US dollars?
I think US dollars, it's $60 extra per year. Per year, it added $60 onto your.
Right.
That
can't be right.
$60 a year.
It's $30 extra. Nintendo Online costs $20 a year, and then to get this add-on pack, I think it's $50 altogether, isn't it? Like it's an extra 30.
Chat, can somebody fact check that for me? It's $50 a year. Is that $50 a year for just the N64 expansion, or is that for
everything?
Either way, like even that is a large price increase. That's over 100% price increase. And fine, whatever, like okay, Nintendo, because your service was cheaper than everybody else's.
But also
okay,
shittier.
It was shitty. Oh, dude, voice chat's like not even a thing. So they're like, we're going to make it better, but it's going to cost more. So I was like, okay. Fuck you, Nintendo, but okay. It's Nintendo.
They're not making their online services better. They're charging an extra $30
to get like 12 games.
The content.
It's 12 games or some shit like that. And I was like, okay, well, okay. But Ocarina of Time is like $100 now for the cartridge. So I was like,
yeah, but
okay.
Like that if they want to play it.
I was like, okay, like I'll listen to I'll be the Nintendo apologist in me is like, okay, that's $100 game. You're paying $50 a year. Maybe it's not the worst thing in the world because it's gonna Ocarina of Time is gonna keep getting more expensive. Whatever. The fucking games don't work. The fucking games don't work, dude. They run like garbage. The controls are not remappable for if you're playing on like a modern controller. The controls aren't remappable. So where you had like your weird C-stick buttons and all that, not remappable. The controls are fucked up. What are they thinking? How? The audacity. Like when Nintendo, something's got to give. Like how?
did we talk about this when the 3D All Star Collection came out?
We talked about Nintendo when they were
How it was
re-releasing.
just bad emulation for like the N64 and like
Well, no, 3D All Stars at
Mario
least
64.
it had good
But
controls
it's not
though.
great though. But it's
No.
not like I could like emulate it better at home with like Dolphin Emulator if I wanted to. It would look better and it would run better.
Dolphin would look better, run better, cost nothing. You know, obviously, and for chat, people who don't know, like emulation is perfectly legal as long as you own a copy of the disc and you're using that disc to run the game. All right, so that's what we're talking about here. I can run Mario Sunshine at 4K in Dolphin and it runs beautifully.
Yeah.
Nintendo can't get goddamn Mario Kart 64 to fucking work on my Switch, and I'm paying $50 a goddamn year for it.
Like they already kind of like I feel like Mario All Stars was like the test. They'll say like let's see if we can get away with this, and everyone's like, oh yeah, we'll just buy it by the millions, and they're like okay, but like yeah, so that extra $30 you get a couple games.
Yep.
Like there's people defending this price. You get the $25 Animal Crossing add-on, which is great if you have Animal Crossing.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, where was the cross-pollination study of that?
People don't have it, so making everyone else pay for those people's. And then it's like it's not only like it'd be one thing if it was like a one-time $30 fee, and you just keep getting those games, right? It's like a game with expandable library.
Like you paid $30 one time, and then it's still just $20 a year for Switch Online.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be totally acceptable. I'd buy that in a second.
Yeah.
But it's $30 a year, every year. So in 5 years, you've paid $150 to play a few old games that aren't even running that well. And then like the Sega Genesis games, you can get like Genesis collections for like $20-$30 on PC that have like tons and tons of Genesis games, probably all those games.
You can get every Genesis fucking game for like $15 on a Steam sale. It's the stupidest fucking thing. I just can't believe the nerve. And we've talked about this on podcasts in the past. Nintendo goodwill is going to run out. They can't just go, hey, we fucked you
Get
good.
away with it.
They can't go, oh, we're going to fuck you good. But look, Zelda. Look, it's Mario. Oh, look, Mario. Oh. It's like shaking the rattle at the crying baby. Like, look, Mario.
They've been making me buy the same. I don't know how many times I've bought in like Mario 3 and Mario Brothers and Mario World, like on Virtual Console, and then the upgrade for DS and then 3DS, and like they just keep selling me that game. I bought it on Switch before, like it was a thing that it was in the Nintendo Online. I mean, they just keep selling me the game over and over again, but it's like $5.
And we keep buying it though. We keep fucking buying it.
But like, just the fact that it's a subscription and it's just like, I don't like it.
I'd rather pay $15.
You get.
I'd rather pay $15 for a Virtual Console game that one works, because these are all streamed games, right? So these are all being streamed via web connection. So you get delay. And
what are you? Are you serious?
Yeah, they're streamed. It's not like it's not like I have a copy of Mario 64 downloaded on my Switch. No. There's a delay. So like when you play Mario 64 on 3D All Stars versus Mario 64 on Switch Online, substantially different experience and just responsiveness.
I just assume that when you click on the game, like because so far it's just been Super Nintendo and Nintendo. I just thought it's like
been streamed.
5 megabytes. Nope. That it's like you could just download that 5 megabytes in 1 second and then run it off your local hardware.
No, you're streaming it. You're streaming off of a cloud machine.
That's not true. Not for Nintendo. It isn't. Is it? That's insane.
Is Switch Online?
That doesn't make any sense. Those file sizes are so small. That's like the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like especially like those types of games, which are like reaction-based gamings, like all the old like console games are 100% reaction-based.
Hold on. I'm gonna look it up. Actually, I'm pretty positive we need like a fact checker.
I feel like they're not streamed, at least like in my experience, because I've played them. I feel like I've played them with like.
Yeah, okay, so those ones have been. The new ones I think are streamed. I think. Because I swear, when I've played the games on Switch Online, there's like input lag.
Yeah, but that's just because of bad programming. I don't think it's because they're streamed.
I would have to find out. I want to know because I feel like
be like artifacting like because there's no way Nintendo's like got their streaming together like that's like perfect.
Yeah, I would have to
feel
double
like
check.
It's like they just download onto your system because the file sizes are so small, right? You could download like like 64 megabytes or 100 megabytes in like seconds. Like
I'm curious. I'll need to do research on that after stream. I'm very curious, but yeah. So either way, we're tilted, okay? And I heard you got pretty tilted this week playing Apex Legends. And I get tilted playing Apex Legends last night. And let's talk a little bit about skill-based matchmaking. And
I get tilted every time I play Apex. But this had nothing to do with skill-based matchmaking. I've just been thinking about it because it's a very interesting concept.
Okay.
Like, it kind of reminds me of like those games where like as you level up, the enemies level and they're always the same. And I hate those games because it feels like you're not making progress. Part of like playing like an RPG or something is like you get more powerful. That guy that used to give you trouble, you can go smash him now. You've worked for it, you deserve it.
Yeah.
And then there's those games that like the enemies are always your level, and I'm just like, what the hell's the point?
I would agree. So Halo Infinite's coming out, and it's going to have skill-based matchmaking. And it brings up that conversation every time because, like, I was a COD kid, right? Whatever. Back in the day. And I have no shame. I would get up in the mornings during the daytime when all the second shift guys were trying to play video games, all the boomer second shift guys that were terrible at games. And I would surf lobbies until I got into a lobby of just dumpsters. And then I'd be like, let's fucking go, boys. And I would sit in the lobby of shitters, and I would just run train on them for hours and just get all these kills and dubs, and it was good. Well, with skill-based matchmaking now, they go, oh, hey, this guy's shitting on people. Let's put him with other people who are shitting on people. And you get into a fucking sweat fest to where, and COD is egregious about it. Like, you'll play like a couple games and you might do good like a couple of games, and it's like, you're a fucking sweat. Have fun, bucko. It'll throw you into a lobby. You'll get dumpstered on by sweat lords for a couple of games, and then it'll send you back and let you dumpster. And it is just not enjoyable. And then Apex is over here dumping you into fucking lobbies, I feel like, consistently, where people are just so much better than me and I can't fucking win. And I just hate it.
Yeah. Well, first off, there's like two different like team-based matchmaking things. I can't remember what Halo's called, MMR or something, but they give each player like their own rating.
Yeah.
And then say if you're like, a 900, you're with your friend, he's a 300, you're with your other friend who's a 200. They add those together, average them. I don't know exactly how they do it, but they like give you like a team.
Yeah, like an average
rating.
That's how Hunt Showdown is.
That's whereas Apex, it's like, I could be brand new to the game. I'm playing with my two friends. They're good. I'm thrown in there with Apex Predators. I'm like trying to figure out what gear goes on what gun and getting headshot from across the map. And like, I think like Apex is like, it's ridiculous the way it works.
Well, and the problem with Apex and what I think Apex has done, I used to play with you and Nick a lot, and Nick is very good at Apex. Nick is a very high fucking ranked player. Well, I'm fucking garbage at Apex, but I played so many games with them. And, there was times where he was able to carry me to to the end. And I think Apex thinks I'm actually better than I am because it saw me in all those games with him, where I'll play with friends who are newer to the game, and it's just like, ha, you used to play in good lobbies. Have fun. And it just tosses us into the deep end. It's just a nightmare.
Apex, yes, it has like some weird stuff to it. Like, I play with friendships. We like almost, well, it hasn't been as bad this week, but like, it wasn't unusual for there to be a predator in like every lobby or every second lobby.
That's a goddamn nightmare.
It's like, I'm no predator. Like, what am I doing in here? And then if I play by myself with randoms, I'm like so much better than my teammates. It's like my teammates don't even understand what a shooter is. And it's just like, it's so weird. Like, my lobbies are a lot easier, but my teammates are like on some sort of drugs. I don't know what they're doing. They're running around. They're like, they don't know, like, they're not shooting at the enemies.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's just like it's either I'm playing in lobbies that are really hard, but like I do okay, or if I'm playing by myself, I'm playing with like the worst people in the world, and it's just not fun. And I'm like, it has like this weird thing where like in like mid lobbies, there's always a player on the team. You could tell that it's the carry. It's like they do that on purpose.
It's terrible.
And like I'm stuck in the carry position, and I just don't like it because like I don't want to carry.
I don't want to carry either. Yeah, I'm really hoping that Halo gets it right. But in other Halo news, did you see the campaign trailer?
Yes, I did.
So my first impressions, and I want to hear yours too. I'm just like, this is fucking Halo Far Cry. I'm like, this is Halo Far Cry with a new Cortana.
I did get a little bit of Far Cry vibes.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of Assassin's Creed vibes.
Just Cause.
But I mean, I think one of the biggest problems with some of those Ubisoft games is they just throw
shit
everything at you.
Yeah.
And like a lot of that stuff is just boxes, right? Oh, I got to take over this outpost. There's no real story involved. There's like busy work. There's like 40 hours of busy work.
But that's what Halo. That's what it looks like they're doing with Halo, man. Is like they're slapping a Halo skin over busy work, where they're like, "Hey, look, we're gonna go take this outpost, Chief," because it's gonna be a live service game, that's fine. And
it might be like as long as like there's something really. You're gaining something, and there's like if they put some story, I seen they might have like mini bosses.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take like a really, really good Halo campaign, hopefully it will be, and just you could stretch that out a little bit, and maybe you could still just skip all that crap if you just want the campaign and just play through like only the story missions. It might be possible to do that.
Well, they added RPG elements. I saw that they added like I saw like a power-ups tab, and like you're leveling, and I just really hope they don't go too far. Like, because I've heard arguments both ways. They're like, I've heard like, oh, well, Halo's always not been about the story. I liked the Halo story, but Chief just needed to die, in my opinion. Like, it's just time for him to go. Like, Grandpa, go to the nursing home. But they're not gonna do it. He's recognizable. I get it. So it's what we have.
Like you know, Link should just die. No more Link and Zelda games. Like Mario should just die. Like Doom Guy, just kill him off.
Hey,
like,
no one can kill Doom Guy. Doom Guy,
kill her off. Like it's okay to have a staple of a series, right? I don't think that's.
I feel like the story of Halo is so much more serious as a rated M game. You know, it's different. You're talking about like Metroid, Mario, Zelda. Those are more kids games. The characters don't age. You know, there's not like a lore and there's not books and stuff. Whereas like Halo, there's books, there's lore. And there's other Spartans, and it's a huge universe, and like it's a very deep game. They weren't afraid to move on from Marcus Phoenix and Gears of War. Why are they so afraid to move on from Master Chief and Halo? Because
I feel like these are very intentional choices.
Like the two of the best Halo games I ever played did not feature Master Chief. Halo Reach, you were not Chief. Halo 3 ODST, you were not Chief. Two of the best Halo games. Like you don't have to have Chief. To have a story.
But that doesn't mean they're not going to make another Halo side game, right? I mean, you're like, this is a new platform. This is like a very, very important game for Halo.
It needs to work.
You're gonna like do whatever you can. Like Master Chief is liked.
Yeah,
not everybody wants him to die.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's gonna help.
But he doesn't have to die. He can go
it's not gonna hurt the game having a Master Chief game. Adding a little bit of like, you know, light RPG mechanics, adding like, you know, a little bit more things to do because it's open world.
Yeah.
Like once you decided to like make an open world game like that, you gotta have things to do. And it's like, how interesting will this, like, we can't really say what they'll be like yet, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it can be very boring. Like some open world games are not fun. Like even Destiny got really old outside of the Destiny content, you know, where it's a continuous world and there's like encounters and fights. Like that got really old to me after thousands of hours. Yeah. But like a game like but a game like Zelda Breath of the Wild, the open world stuff is very interesting and fun and unique. So you know, the problem with open world games is a very broad spectrum of how good or bad it can be.
I think it's like, you know, it's what you prefer. I loved Far Cry taking over outposts, and I do each one differently, and I try to come up things in different ways. Whereas, say, Breath of the Wild, I thought that game was boring as shit.
Really?
Because I just going to those freaking, what are they called?
The puzzle dungeons or whatever.
Yeah.
I
feel like after you did like 10 of those, they were just like, this is this again, but so slightly different. And then like that's what that game was. Like I played that game for like 40 hours, and I got like, you know, every few hours there'd be a little morsel of story in there.
Just a crumb, a little sprinkle.
And most of it was just me running around finding all those shrines. And it was just like...
You're going to make so many Zelda people mad. You're going to make so many Zelda people upset.
I'm not saying it's bad. People like it.
Yeah.
But, like, I wasn't into it personally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone could like what they like.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing for me, I think there's a lot of stuff sprinkled in Breath of the Wild that was, like, for Zelda people, right?
Yep.
Like I'd see shit pop out of the ground, like this big event. I'm like, I don't know what this is. Like I've played the Zelda games very sparingly. I spent a few hours in each one kind of thing.
Yep.
So when all this stuff was happening to me, it didn't mean anything. But to those people, they're probably like, oh, this is back, or like this. But for me, it's just like, wow, there's this thing here.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna run around for another 4 hours looking for freaking shrines. And
Okay.
5 million Korok seeds. Like,
Fucking Korok seeds. God damn it.
That's just like, you know, I feel like there's a lot more for people who love Zelda in that game, and that wasn't me.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I'm not saying it's a bad game. Like that's like a very like I there's like the physics puzzles and like just like the stuff you could do is very good in that game, but it's like I didn't get a lot out of it. I thought it was an empty, hollow world, and I was lonely and bored.
See, that's funny because like I always shit on Far Cry. I've played I bought Far Cry 3 years ago, and Far Cry 3 is like arguably the best one. And I would start Far Cry 3, and then I got to the point where the story where it's like, okay, the world's open, go to Outpost. I was like, fuck this, and I never touched a Far Cry since. I was like, this is fucking stupid. And it's, you know, my impression of all Far Cry Ubisoft games are just like, go find the outpost, go clear them out. And I am so worried that that's what Halo's gonna be.
There's definitely a lot of different things to do in Far Cry. It's not Outpost really. Like I think I did like everything you could do.
Okay.
Every side quest, every quest in about 40 hours.
Okay, so that's not horrible.
And like, while there's like you're getting fed some story. I'm not saying that's like that those games are like. I don't think they've innovated enough, but I skipped 3 and 4, and I played 5, and I love 5. But that's because before I played 2, I played a little bit of 3. But like when I really got into it, I actually really liked it. I thought the characters were interesting. I thought like, you know, you get a freaking bear. There's like a quest. Like, it's like there's a lot of different things to do in there, and like a lot of different characters. But like there definitely is some busy work. There's some padding there, but it was fun padding to me.
Okay.
But like what I hear of 6 is it's just the same thing again. And I don't think I want to play that over and over and over again. Like I might skip a couple more and play 8, and like I'm ready for that kind of stuff again. But like, yeah, if you played 3, 4, 5, and you're playing 6, you're probably tired of that formula.
Everybody just wants Blood Dragon. Everybody likes Blood Dragon. Like that was like the only thing that looked like it was interesting that they ever did. I don't think Ubisoft is bad. I just think they're very misguided. They're just, I don't know.
They definitely pad out their games.
They do. They pad them out. They're like, this is a 90-hour adventure. Come get your money's worth. You know, it's like, okay.
It's for people who like that, you can do it. But like, I remember playing Origin. I started off doing everything, clearing out the zones. After, I don't know, 20 hours, I'm like, I'm just like gonna just bullet through this, get to the end of the game, and I did, and I liked it.
Yeah.
It's like I got sick of doing all the crap, and then I just didn't do it anymore. And then you just finish the game. It's whatever you want it to be, really. And if you want to, I know like the newer ones, you could like turn off the map, all that stuff on the map, so you're just exploring it. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what your next quest is. You have to explore the world. And like that's a cool concept. I didn't do it that way because I'm like, I'm going here next. I'm like getting through this game. But yeah, like part of my OCD is like I want to clear out everything. Like
so, and then they target people like you. They're like, yeah, we're gonna get him. Like, look at that out. Look at that little check mark over there on the list.
Sick of it.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'll just stop playing it, or I'll make a conscious decision that I'm finishing this game. I'm going on a run. I'm gonna finish this game in the next few hours, and then I do that.
Okay.
So it's not like they're forcing you to do that crap. That's just extra. Like you could even like take it off your map. You don't have to do it. So like, and if even like if people, even if you take that stuff off there and you don't have to do, if people don't like the game just because it's in there, that's fine too. Like, do whatever you want, man. No one's forcing you to play this game.
We'll see. I think there's a lot coming down the pipeline that is to be seen. And December, when Halo comes out, I'm ready for it. I see now why they had to delay co-op. Now, seeing the scale of it, I was like, okay, so this is why they had to delay co-op. Because of the scale of the open world, it makes more sense to me.
It's not only that, but they had to redo so many assets. Like,
well, yeah, because it looked like shit.
Would have been in it if they didn't have to redo the entire game.
Yeah, well, we'll see. The game's got to be. The game can't fail. If this fails, I think Halo is on the shelf for another 5 years. 343
definitely put it down for a while.
343's got to stop fucking this up. They've got to stop fucking this up.
Go a totally different direction, right?
Yeah. Yeah, 343 needs if they fuck this up again, they have to be done. It has to go to someone else. So we'll see. But it looks good. It's played well. Looks interesting. People love open world. I think they'll eat it up.
I'm into it for sure.
I know you're into it. I'll play it. Game Pass helps it. Yeah. We'll see.
I'm definitely gonna play through the campaign, and then I'm just gonna like dive into the multiplayer for like hundreds of hours.
So that's coming down the pipeline in a couple months. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're playing this week? What do you got coming up this week that you're going to be playing that's got you excited? What are you enjoying? Or is it just more Apex and Back 4 Blood?
There is... the new map is coming out in Apex.
Okay,
like, Tuesday. New character, new map. So I'm going to be playing that.
Okay, that's to be expected.
I'm trying to rack my brain right now. I might try the... what is it? Age of Empires? Is that the...
Yep. Age of Empires 4 is out.
4? Yeah. I might, like, I remember playing those games, like, 20 years ago. It feels like.
It's a long time.
I'm going to take a little peek in there. I'm going to see what it's like. I'm definitely going to try that out. I know there's, like, a lot of releases.
Oh, we're about to get dumped on. The new release fucking big poop hole is above us. And it's prairie dogging. Like, it's up there. It's prairie dogging. It's puckering. It is loaded. And for me, it starts this Friday with I being the guy that I am. I'm paying the extra, and I'm getting the early release of Forza Horizon 5, and I cannot fucking wait. Oh, I'm so ready. So next
week, be playing by yourself, man.
I'm not only playing by myself. Everyone in the community's got the early access version too. They're all I've built a cult. We're all my whole stream's a bunch of cultists, and we're all gonna get it early and play it together. So I'm ready for it. It's going to be exciting. I think Horizon 5, the graphics look incredible. The audio the improvements to the audio. It's just, I'm so ready for it. So that's what you'll hear back from me. Like, we'll do our stream next week. We'll do our podcast next week. And then as soon as I get off, Forza time, baby. So ready for Forza. So, and then Pokemon's coming out and GTA Remastered Trilogy is coming out. I mean, there's some stuff coming down the pipeline, and then Battlefield and Halo, and for the COD people, there's a COD game coming out. I mean, there is so much coming. We are in for in February, like November, December is pretty loaded, and then February is loaded from all the games getting pushed back. I mean, we are in for some treats, and it is a fun time to be a gamer, and we don't realize how good we have it. It was a little bit dry during COVID time. Now it's getting juicy again. So we'll have lots to talk about, but thanks for taking the time, man. This was fun. This was great. Chat, thanks for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out Foxhard on Twitch. Make sure you check Renilius on Twitch if you're not following already. All you got to do is hit that follow button. No obligation to subscribe. And we'll be back this same time, maybe a little earlier because I was running late next week. But yeah, I think this was good. Yes. He's like, yes.
Excited to talk about all the new games.
I'm excited to talk about the new games. And hopefully, who knows what kind of news is coming down this week. That's why it's always so exciting because it's always a surprise. But yeah, we'll be back same time, same place. Wooden Bananas Gaming. It's so weird to say. But hey, thanks, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yeah.